Hey, welcome back. Okay, it's been a little bit. I messed up last time. Let's see, camera's going, check. Mic's going, we're hot. Have my bourbons, have my snifters, have the envelope. We're ready for a bourbon blind. All right, guys, I hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year's holiday season. I took a little over a week off. I'm back into the swing of things right now, or trying to get back into the swing of it. You know, it's a lot to remember when you're putting these things together. Oh, one of my sons got me this hat. He had it, he's 11, and so he got it, and it says, the one, the only Bourbon Bounty. So you'll see me with this hat. So I'm very, very proud of this hat. So Bourbon Blind, my wife, as always, here's her initials on the envelope. The envelope, for whatever reason, these are kind of old envelopes or something that wouldn't seal, so she put a piece of tape over it. But the results are inside. Really doesn't matter. I'm not trying to guess these bourbons. I can tell you, I did forget to write on the envelope what they were. But I can tell you that one of them, I don't know which is which, but one of them is Smooth Ambler Contradiction Bourbon. One of them is High West American Prairie Bourbon, and the other one is Duke Small Batch. So I don't, you know, again, I don't know which is which, but we're gonna pour them up here and see what happens. So I'm just gonna take and again, I poured these really evenly in the bottles and all of that, so you know I wouldn't be able to say, oh, that one had more in it or whatever. So all right, we will go in here, and I will put the cap back on this thing and leave A next to, oh, and our label maker ran out of stuff, so I had to write the letters on what's it called? Manila tape, whatever it is, masking tape. B, we will put in this one. The lid back on, and then C, we'll go into this one. And I'll keep them separated because I really, if I get them crossed, I will have no idea what's what. So they should all be pretty even in the glass. And I'm gonna give them a swirl. And really what this blind is about is I know what 3 bourbons there are, but I really don't know which is which. And I'm just gonna let my nose say, hey, this one's better or worse, or I'm picking up this, or I think this one is better than the other 2 or whatnot. So we'll give them a swirl, get some air in them, and hit that again so that we can start getting some little beads running down the side so I can check the legs on them. Let me hit that one again. There we go. Now it's starting to give up a little rundown. All right, so I can tell you the legs, from the legs, this one is doing a little better. This one's okay. This one's not as good. But, oh, another thing, YouTube, just discovered it too yesterday. YouTube now has like 5K. So if you're watching my videos and you go in, they're taking a little longer to process and all on YouTube now, but you can go in to your settings down, like if you hover over the screen on a computer, you can go down to the settings and then look at the resolution and go all the way to the top. If you have good enough internet and enough memory processing power on your computer, you can watch these things. And I did it yesterday and I could read like everything. So it was really, really cool. Very high def on these videos. So with that, if you can do it, let me swirl this again. Perhaps you can see some of the trails, how thick they are. It's really hard to see if you don't have a really high def but I can see them in person, how wide those trail, like the beads will come down at the top and they'll run slow, and some of them run fat and some of them run thin. That's what we're talking about when we talk about legs. So let me nose these things. Maybe a little spice in that one. Of course, typical bourbon notes, but I'm looking beyond the apple, stuff, and trying to see if there's some punchiness or, underlying notes coming out. A little more vanilla in this one. Yeah, this one's a little spice kick, maybe a little more rye in the mash. And this one's a little flatter, not flatter as in not good, but not as punchy to the nose. Let me nose this one. This one's distinctly different from the other two. Yeah, I would say this one's going to be not as sweet, and probably, just from the nose on it, probably a little more rye in it. There's some candy note in here. Yeah, this one's a little fainter on the nose. This one's very fruity. I think I know which one this one is. All right, so let's start tasting them. We'll get that first sip out of the way. That's not bad. A little bit of a, probably a little higher rye in the mash, but it's still a bourbon. So at least it's over 50% corn. But I can tell you this has some wheat and stuff in it too. To put it in context, this one reminds me more of a Four Roses. Knowing it's not one of these, but whichever one that one is. And I'm not getting that grassy note out of it. I think this one may be High West. Just from the nose, but let me give her a taste. Yeah, this one's a lot, what some people call smooth. This one's a little rougher. This may be smooth Ambler, I'm not sure. Okay, I'll come back to those. Let me try this one. I think I prefer this one over A. Yep, I know which one that one is. There's that fruit salad. That's the Duke right there. I can tell you hands down, this is Duke. Duke is one of the most distinctly different bourbons I have on my shelf, and I love it. It's a picture of John Wayne on the bottle. It's got, of him in one of his movies. And it is just fruity. It is just like a mixed fruit bourbon. It is really good. Yep. That's Duke, distinctly. Now, which one of these is, because I remember when I reviewed High West, the American Prairie Bourbon, I said there were earthy notes in it, and I think I remember saying that it was some grassy notes, earthy, grassy notes. And I think it's this one. And I don't remember what order I gave them to her, but she randomly put, the ABC on them. I think my favorite one is the Duke, then this one, but these are really close, but this one's a little rougher. And I think this is the American Prairie Bourbon High West. I think this is Contradiction. And if it is, I really like the vanilla coming through on Smooth Ambler. If it is, we'll see. Yeah, I like that. Vanilla to caramel. This is a good, really good balanced bourbon, but this is a fruit salad bomb over here. All right, let me see if I'm right. Yeah, I really like B. C is my favorite overall just because it's so different, but this, for like an everyday bourbon, I'd probably pick that one. Must have put it on the counter and something. All right, what do we have here? Okay, yeah, I was absolutely right on this one, but I was wrong on these. I really like High West. High West is a good bourbon. And it's funny because I think when I reviewed it, of course, I wasn't pouring bourbon on top of bourbon. I thought it had those grassy notes. Yeah, I can sort of, now that I know what it is. But the blind, coming through blind, vanilla. It comes through on this one pretty good. And that's a High West American Prairie Bourbon. Of course, I'm washing bourbons over top of each other, and I'm not trying to dissect every individual note because I'm not rinsing my mouth out in between and all of that. So they're kind of influencing each other. But the prominent notes come out. That's more vanilla. I think Smooth Ambler is a decent bourbon. It's just, I think it's not balanced to me, not as balanced as it could be. I think it's coming through a little sharp on some of the notes, but this one is just unique. Love me some Duke. Oh, wow. Man, that is just fruit on top of fruit right there. Apricot, melony even, with apple and pear. But this is a really good bourbon. Oh yeah, that's good. Now this one, for a typical, more closer to a typical bourbon, yeah, very good. Okay, so my pick in this, let's set Duke aside and say this is my favorite unique bourbon. Out of the three, closer to what most people would think of bourbon, it's High West American Prairie Bourbon out of these three. And then Smooth Ambler Contradiction Bourbon. It's not a bad bourbon. It's just a little sharp in areas that I would hope it would smooth out a little and be a little more balanced. But all in all, I don't have a bad bourbon in front of me. It's just some are a little bit better than others. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell down there for notifications, and I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.